including training, trauma-informed care, innovative facilitation and engagement strategies, and complete K-12 problem-based learning curriculums. She holds a PhD in education with the focus on global training and development and has more than 25 years experience working in the after-school field. She was also one of the keynote speakers at the Inspire conference held on November 4th and 5th here at Lander Haven in Cleveland by YEI. We hope you had a chance to join us at the conference. Today's Power Hour is an extension of this conference where Dr. Toledo will help us understand more about her program, Ideas Empowered by Youth. Before I turn this over to Dr. Toledo, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Robin Eisen, the Special Projects Manager here at YEI. My colleagues and I will be monitoring the chat box during this workshop. Also know that an email will go out after the end of this event that has all the different websites and links and anything that you might need to know. So you don't have to take notes if you don't want to. We hope that you do engage with us though. And just so everyone knows, in case you didn't hear that, we are recording this. So I look forward to a fantastic 90-minute workshop with everyone. And Dr. Toledo, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was an awesome introduction. Thank you so much. Okay, so if I could get access to the share. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I am so excited to be here. Let me just make sure that I'm sharing the right stuff. And it doesn't matter how much you do this, there's still like, am I doing it right? Okay, so thank you so much for being here, taking this afternoon to join me in a dialogue around what does it take to create an environment where our children have the mindset of an entrepreneur. So I'm trying to think is like, what is an entrepreneur? Like, what is the mindset? So I would love to hear from anyone in the audience. What is your thought about entrepreneurship? What's the mindset? Just take a dab at it. Anyone? I know I started with a question.
I would say, hi, I would say innovation, being innovative.
Yeah.
Problem solver, solving a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
Perfect.
someone put in the chat that's not afraid of risk.
Yes, a risk taker and problem solver, innovator. Anything else?
Persistent.
Oh, tenacity is my favorite. I just put a little sign up on my board. I have a vision board that I just put together yesterday. Well, I'm beginning to put it together because I decided to write my first book. And I figured, well, how am I going to write this book? I'm going to have to write why. Why do I want to write this book? Why should this book come alive, right? So the tenacity I wrote, where was it that I wrote? I wrote, having tenacity is my strength. So thank you for that. It reminded me that my strength is tenacity. Thank you. That perseverance is important. What else?
We have some comments in the chat. I'm just going to, not everyone is able to be fully present on screen. We know from the past that we have some folks who are doing carpools and doing other work and family responsibilities, but we did have a couple other comments. Stepping out of the box and failure is a normal and part of the learning process.
Oh, wow. Is it being with failure and moving forward anyway? Just moving forward anyway. Yeah. So I'm very passionate about really creating spaces where young people know their strength, have a passion, and are willing to move forward and creating a path for themselves to get, to get to their goals, right? So goal setting is something else that we want young people to have. And it comes from my own experience as a child and even as an adult, really quickly recap, I was diagnosed as a child that I had a learning disability. Even when I went to college, I got a whole nother testing process on my learning disability and was diagnosed as, I had that whatever short-term thing is. But my struggle was not academic. I always managed to fulfill my academic requirements. My struggle was self-confidence. My struggle was self-worth and believing that I'm smart enough or I'm the one to actually move forward and do a project like what I'm doing now as an adult. So I want to bring, I'm passionate about bringing the energy to young people to say, if you're a lifelong learner, you could make anything happen, regardless of what your shortcomings are. And I want to share with you Ideas Empowered by Youth. Inspiring Youth to Thrive is based on this analogy that we could create environments now as young as kindergarten, where young people start making a connection to things that matter to them, and then start practicing these skills of innovation, collaboration, problem solving, taking risks, all of those stuff that we just talked about when we came on board. So here we are, and there you go. Okay, so what we did is we created a global virtual learning professional community for educators. And this is it's built under evidence-based practice. So with my intensive research in my dissertation, as well as just my program, I've been doing this for about 15 years, mainly focusing on 2019 on entrepreneurship, but mostly 21st century learning. So the learning community is to support educators in the tools, strategies, techniques, best practices, and some curriculums that will support creating these environments. And most importantly, creating a student-led learning environment. So I want to just share with you this short video. We could start. This video is, we're actually starting, and you could invite young people as well to join us this year. So we're recruiting a new cohort of high schoolers to take on a 12-week program to design a business idea according to their passion or a world issue that they want to make a difference in. So this video is last year's cohort. So our young people not only are brilliant, but have the potential to make a difference in today's world.
Collectively, all of us need a positive way to uplift ourselves. We believe by promoting a welcoming environment where people can express themselves creatively, we can do so.
We decided to create this because we wanted to use the gift of our son effectively and use the energy in good ways and use them for convenient and renewable use.
For future business expansion is to launch an app version to make it easier for our user to use. We are looking to extend our business to not just academic support, but also daily usage.
I think this is a wonderful idea, the platform for connecting students with tutors in their own age group.
The coronavirus pandemic has thrown all of us for a loop. Through isolation, people have been dealing with many mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and suicidal tendencies.
Not only are you encouraging people to do something else with their time than just stream Netflix and create something, but also that there would be a community for them to come to.
I am loving that so far every founder have incorporated social impact into their business model. I love the 5% back to make a difference.
When I look at you guys, I see the future. The ideas that you guys have to help heal this world, I know we're in great hands.
So I'm going to open it up for any comments or feedback from the video. This video always moves me. Anyone? Of course, if there's anything on the chat.
I love seeing the kids speak. Like when they say it in their own words, I think it's always very impactful.
Mm-hmm. And from experience is they show up. You know, these are professionals, these are business people that are these were the judges, and they show up, and the judges do not hold back. They treat them like real businesses and ask really difficult questions, and they show up. They show up with confidence. Yes. Thank you for that. Anyone else? So we're going to move on to talk about our learning philosophy. So when we actually launched the product, the online community this past September, we've been working on it since 2019, writing curriculums, writing trainings, and piloting it mainly in New York. And through this whole process, I was thinking about, well, what does it really feel like to create an environment that we're building entrepreneurship skills? And it's an environment that is a constant infinity, like it never ends. It doesn't have a top or bottom. It doesn't have a, you know, it's basically always moving, and our young people are feeling safe in their environment. So it's very important that we have a place where they're safe, a place where there's a growth mindset, and there's self-awareness, accountability for self, as well as they have the opportunity to critically think, collaborate with each other, problem solve, and it's an environment that they are directing, that they are asking the questions and being curious about what they want to learn. And in turn, the educator is providing them with coaching for them to direct them versus giving them solutions or giving them instructions. They're basically giving them more questions about their own self interests. So the facilitator is a coach. The facilitator is someone who's in the background offering resources, and somebody who is paying attention to the direction that the kids want to go, and then offering them options on how to go in these directions. So let me see, just not to. So when we created the platform, we first realized that we knew that evidence-based practice is part of the foundation. So for years, project-based learning has been identified as an approach that helps young people form 21st century skill learning, like collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and communication. So we really wanted to explain that most of these evidence-based practices have already been out there for a long time, and we're kind of putting it all together: trauma-informed, social emotional learning. All of those are evidence-based practice that we want to kind of, instead of it being in silos, we want them integrated in an environment that is constantly moving and everything is happening at one time. Experiential learning is another key element to this process, where we want young people to have very hands-on experience in how they're going to develop whatever project or concept they're working on. And of course, you know, there's trainings for trainers, for educators. So a constant, more information, more resources, more insights, more experts. The more we feed ourselves, the more we have access to feed our young people. So in general, this is our philosophy. And what I would like to do is let's do a little jam board. So Angelica is going to put a link on chat so you could all have access to the Jamboard. And I'm going to give a short tutorial. You could do a sticky note, which is probably my favorite. And what we want to do is like, what would it take for you to create an environment? Let me move this. Wait, let me create a student-led learning culture. So what does student-led mean to you? What's a student-led environment? So when you get a Post-it note, I'm going to choose pink and have you ask questions is what my response would be. So let's do this for about, let's start with 3 minutes and let's write as much as you could think of. What would it take to create a student-led environment? Learning culture. Okay. Nice. I don't know, Robin, if you have that great background music. I don't know, we didn't plan for it, but it would be great.
Evan, if you can get that up, that would be great. Maybe put a timer in for, you said you wanted 2 minutes?
3.
3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
See if Evan can.
I'll be able to hear it if I'm not the one sharing.
Oh, got you. Oh, that was a great idea anyway.
Good idea. Something that we can create and improve on, right?
Yes. It's so cool because at the last minute I got one. I got another one. Awesome. So let's just take a minute to look at this, and I would love to hear from you, even through chat or just and speaking. What is one thing that you've tried and why? How do you see the difference in our kids? You know, if there's something here that you've tried, and what's the energy, what's the feel that our kids have when you have experience, when you give them this opportunity?
Well, I'll jump in. I would think that they take a lot of ownership.
Where do you, so which one do you want to specifically, is there anything from the board you want to grab? Because ownership is definitely it. Ownership in the whole process. I love it.
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking me to do with the Post-it notes.
Yeah, so for example, I wrote at the last minute, have written instructions. So this is a process that I would do with what you call like a writer's workshop. And each, they have an opportunity to rotate like 4 times. And I'm not doing anything. I give them the instructions, each team, and they just do what they're going to do for 30 minutes. And then when the 30 minutes are up, they go and they switch, they read the instructions, do what the activity is together, and then they switch again in 30 minutes. So just written instructions that it's not me speaking, or it's not the instructor speaking, they're just leading on their own. So how that made children feel is that I saw the energy in the room was very engaging, and there was just a lot of little clusters, and kids were talking to each other, and I was in the back going, just looking around and walking around and just watching them do stuff. Anyway, go ahead. Go.
I was just going to say, we've got a comment in the box from someone who has a lot of loud dogs, and I can relate to that. The comment is, I did a note about fewer right answers by middle schoolers. This particular person's middle schoolers love to say, I don't get it, or is this right? And I've been working hard to offer guidance without answers, make them struggle a bit to find it themselves. And you see a lot more of those light bulb moments.
Yes. Yes. And I love this is we need to allow kids to struggle to get to the answer, right? It's part of, we spoke about a part of failure, part of risks is like letting them struggle and having them go through the process to get to the other side. Woohoo! Yes. Thank you for that. Someone else? Go.
Hi, I can share that I had that experience today. My students were working on, they were working for 2 weeks in book clubs in small groups. And then they were asked to share, the last 2 days they worked on a presentation to share like a book talk about their book with their peers to see if they'd be interested in. It's always so much better. That was what I wrote in the sticky note. They come up with their own ideas for sharing. I had given them some suggestions, but one group created their own website about the book, and I had a criteria that they had to cover, you know, whether about the characters, just a framework, their dynamic or static characters, a little summary. They had to read a passage from the book, a rating scale kind of thing, basic, but that was awesome. One group did like I said, a website. Another group did, I had suggested like an author interview, but they created a whole Fallon set and had an audience participation and had asked questions. And then another group did an iMovie in conjunction with their Google Slides. So it was just a higher level of collaboration and critical thinking. Some of them added, I have one student in India right now. So her contribution was to come up with a slide about setting because she wanted to add something, or a slide about an author, which wasn't on my original criteria, but they saw the need and filled it. So it was a good day.
Oh, amazing. I just totally felt everything you were sharing. And the thing is that you give them the go and they will go. They will go and try it. Like you're like, well, I didn't think about that. So yeah, yeah, if you want to do, you want to do a Jimmy Fallon stage, an audience, well, there you go. They still followed your instructions though. You gave them basic instructions, simple, and you let them go off. Would anybody else like to share? So really I'm looking for is the feeling. How do kids feel? How do you feel? When you create a student-led environment, what does that energy feel like? And why is it important for us? Like, why do we want that for them? What is important for them, really? Anyone?
I would think they feel in control.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not really learning. Like it's not like a teacher student, your traditional.
Yeah,
setup.
and you mentioned earlier too, ownership.
Mm-hmm.
They feel in control. They feel they're owning their learning. Their path is their classroom. Is their learning environment.
Feeling valued.
Yes. Oh.
And lots of pride. We have a comment in the chat. Pride.
Mm-hmm. A lot of pride a lot of pride, feeling validated, listened to, seen, valued.
Another chat was confidence, like they feel like just more confident.
Just more confident.
And invested.
And I don't know about you, but when I feel confident, I think I could make anything happen. So it's an opportunity for us to all just touch to the feeling of it. How does it make you feel as an educator? That's a good question. How does it make you feel as an educator?
I can't speak from the educator point of view, but another feeling as the student, it really makes it feel less like things are tasks, and it feels like more like their experiences, which is incredibly helpful for people who may be less easily engaged or something.
So it's not a to-do list.
Exactly.
It's more like, I'm going to experience this. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
When you have, okay, I'm going to tell on myself. So this office is new because I just moved here a couple of months ago. So I'm like creating my atmosphere and stuff. So I thought it was brilliant that I could connect my Apple Pro to 2 monitors. So I could have all these multiple monitors happening at the same time. Well, it's been a week that I can't figure this out. And I can't tell you how much. Yeah, it feels like I want to, once this training is over, I'm going to go back to those instructions to figure out how to get my monitors. I want 2 monitors and my laptop. So the thing is that the determination just is there. The drive.
There was also a comment, Dr. Toledo, that one of the educators feels like a co-learner, like that they're learning together.
Thank you. I love when you remind me of stuff. Yes. So one of the things that I think about is the way our traditional classrooms are designed is that the one that has all the information, all the education is the educator, right? So okay, so I'm the educator and I just got a PhD. I'm going to raise myself a little higher just because I got a PhD. But basically what I'm saying is that when I operate out of what I learn is what you're going to learn, there's a cap. But when we open it up, that we're actually co-learning together, we're exploring and investigating and researching this topic that we may not know, that the learning opportunity is infinite. That's another reason why I thought the infinite logo was, the infinite sign was important. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. So yeah, this is a conversation that we could continue to have, not only with each other, with your colleagues, but with your young people. Every time you try one of those elements, there were various examples that we shared today. Just get a feel for your, a pulse for your kids. How did you feel? How did it make you feel? So we could go back to why we want to do this in the first place.
Could I?
Yes, absolutely, Jim.
Thank you. Today, my girls, I teach at a girls, all girls in Cleveland. And today they were designing on a new app that we were trying to become familiar with, an ELA. And as I was just watching them, at first, and noise level never bothers me in the room because they're always, there's always just a buzz. But anyways, it was so interesting as I stepped back today and was watching them and their engagement. At first, the noise level was like really loud because they were getting to where they needed to be and what to do. And all of a sudden, it was just a hum between all of them. They were so settled in and engaged to what they were doing and what they were leading and what they were owning. This just so much happening, and noise level was just, I don't know, it was just so different today when I stepped back and looked at them, like, look at how engaged they are and taking charge and learning on their own and directing themselves. You could just, I could feel it and I could hear it just amongst them. It was, I don't know, it was just enlightening to me today.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And those are the moments that we want to pay attention to. Is like, what was it? How did I make that instruction today? And that had them get to this level, right? So the difference is forcing them to quiet and focus versus giving them the tool to get them to focus.
Oh, wow.
And that's what you did. You gave them the opportunity to get them to focus. And the other piece I want to talk about with your share is they were still in groups and they were still focused. And
thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Georgiana?
Georgianne.
Say it again.
Georgianne.
Georgianne. My grandmother's name is Eluhina, which is Georgiana G.
Oh. Well, I was born in Georgia, so that's where mine came from.
Parents are so creative. Thank you for that. Thank you. So just to give you a little sense of where we've been with this product, in 2019, we got a grant from the Department of Youth and Community Development in New York City to offer an entrepreneurship program that was a Young Sharks, and it was the first time that I designed the curriculum that you're going to be able to see later. And we had 12 middle school programs and 12 high school programs. And my role was to create a training program for the staff, and then they will turnkey it to the kids. And then we will have them do two events. One is the semifinals and one was the finals. So the DYCD had awards for the winning teams, the top 3 winning teams from middle school and the top 3 winning teams from high school. And we actually did that for 3 years consecutively. So that was like my starting point. And it was just such, and it was mostly in person until 2020, like everyone else. And then we shift. So when we shift to a virtual setting, that's when my light bulb went up and it was like, oh my God, we could do a lot more of this. So in 2020 and through 2022, we started working with more organizations that provided summer youth employment programs. So basically here in New York, the summer youth employment program gives young people stipends to be placed in a business. But where are you going to place people kids during a pandemic? So especially when no camps, no nothing. So we served over the first year in 2020, we served over 2,000 kids. Then in 2022, in 2021, 1,500, and in 2022, another 1,000. Basically from the age of 14 to 21, we had 4 curriculums already designed: health and wellness, climate change, and financial literacy, and including entrepreneurship. And basically the young people took 6 weeks to work from their computers at home, but also work collaboratively and do projects based on the curriculums that they chose. I found that in 2020, it was the largest group. We gave them a choice of where they wanted to go, and over 50% of them chose health and wellness. And I really believe it was because they were all struggling with mental illness at home and health and wellness. So they got to choose according to where they wanted to make a difference. And then, so now currently these are the organizations and the schools that we're working with. And of course, you know, we're expanding ourselves like in Ohio to share this wealth. So that's our history so far. We, this past summer, we also designed a workforce development track for 16 to 24-year-olds to teach them marketing, SEOs, and website design, and business and finance. So they had about 3 weeks of teaching, of learning the information, the content, the context, and the skills. And then we placed them virtually with companies, and they were able to do projects with these companies around marketing, website design, and financial database and accounting. So, you know, this is the work that we are doing. So here we have our learning outcomes. We have these learning outcomes are based on the 21st century learning as well as social emotional learning. We want to make sure that first we are preparing our young people for career readiness skills. And career readiness skills, again, in my research, soft skills is what we call 21st century skills, where anyone that has emotional intelligence to relate and communicate with others, be effective in influencing others, having management skills, time management skills, organizational skills, relationship building, and career readiness is so much more than just an industry skill building. So all of the curriculums are focused on career readiness, and we have what we call career pathway components, where if you're on the health and wellness component, you could have young people explore and look into different career paths that they could take under health and wellness. And you know, right now it's wide. there are so many paths that you could take under the health and wellness component. 21st century skills we've been talking about, and I want to emphasize the digital literacy. Digital literacy is critical for our young people. Right now in the job market, this is one of the first things that you want our young people to have when it comes down to not only learning how to do research, but learning all kinds of programs. For example, this Canva program, it is brilliant. Every year they have a new program out there that you could do, people used to get paid a lot of money to put together graphic design. And, now my staff is definitely skilled and creative, but this is done on Canva very easily. And my point is that digital literacy is critical for the 21st century skills, because most jobs are requiring that you not only know how to use the computer and all kinds of applications, but are willing to learn more. Social emotional learning, as I mentioned before, we want to be able to have social emotional learning be a conversation, an everyday conversation. It's not just a workshop or a moment that we do social emotional learning in the classroom. It's social emotional learning is life. It's how do I have self-awareness? How do I relate to others? How do I manage my emotions? How do I discipline? Those are all social emotional learning skills. All curriculums have civic engagement. In other words, we want, and I'm going to match these two up, global awareness with civic engagement. Basically, we want kids to look at the world at a big picture and then narrow it down to their local community. So if they're creating a business or they're creating a peer-to-peer education program or any of the projects we have in Align, they are focused on the needs of their community. So they will do research, they will do market research, ask questions, do surveys, do interviews, research with experts and ask them questions, read many articles and information about the topic that they're going to before they actually come up with a solution for their community. And real world learning. Real world learning means that not only are they applying their skills to the real world, but they're also connecting with professionals in the world. So one of the things, like you saw with the competition, those are professionals, those are entrepreneurs that they could ask questions with. So we encourage them to send an email to an expert and ask them a question, or say, could we get 20 minutes of your time and give and be clear about, these are the 20 minutes I have, and I want to know from you, what do you think about this topic? And what do you think about the direction that we're going? So they could get that expert advice. And of course, their presentation allows them to present to funders and investors. Last summer, we had a showcase, and we had over 35 investors and professionals and business people actually be part of this showcase. And it was just amazing on how the whole interaction of youth and professionals just interchanging ideas and information with each other. So these are the youth learning outcomes for these curriculums. Our learning management system, our program, is consisting of 3 key elements. One is the curriculums that I've been talking about, K through 12. We have about seven, right? Or 8, I lost count. 7 or 8 curriculums already designed, and they are part of the they're part of the learning management system, where we give you instructions and direction on how to facilitated in your program. But most of all, these curriculums are designed for you to put in your own jazz to it, your own expertise. If you're a STEM or a history or literature or art, you could expand the curriculum for it to be all year, or you could do it by semester, or you could do it for the summer, but you could also put your own spice to it, which is what I adore about the way we designed it. There's also opportunity to skip some of the lessons, some of the units, and put your own unit in it, as long as they come up with the same outcome, which is to create a project. And then the professional learning community basically is consisting of synchronous and asynchronous trainings. So we will have, once you're part of the curriculum, once you're part of the membership, you could go in and get tips and strategies and techniques that you could apply right away into your classroom, like what we talked about earlier with student-led. And also there's synchronous trainings going to happen all throughout the school year that you could participate to get information from experts. And then the last component is real world learning for youth. So we have two things. We have the competition for high schoolers, and then we have a symposium. So anyone who is participating in our curriculum, they could register for the symposium to have their young people actually present in a virtual conference. We have a virtual platform that is, it's an actual, like an avatar. So you create an avatar, your own avatar, and you walk around this space. And so we invite experts and parents and everyone, and there's different rooms that you could go to and actually see the presentations. Some of the presentations are live. We still have the entrepreneurship competition as well. So young people could participate in the symposium every year. I'm going to pause just to see if anyone have any questions. Okay, you could interrupt me if anybody writes.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, you have a question?
No, I was just saying, okay, I will.
Okay. So here are the curriculums that we have available on the platform. Spiffy's Corner is for K to 3rd grade. We partner with a publishing company that writes books focusing on world issues and teaching kids on how to understand what happened and also be in service, compassion, and working together as a team. So these curriculums are based on books, and you get to actually play around with it in a little bit. So we're gonna put you in breakout rooms, so you could go to these, you could play around with these curriculums. The social entrepreneur, which we talked about, health and wellness, and we're going to have climate change available today. And we also have urban farming. We met with a group of urban farmers who help us create this curriculum on helping young people understand the relationship to food and how could we use agriculture to raise our own food. Financial literacy is based on setting goals, self-care, self-development, knowing how money works, learning about your mindset compared to how money works, creating a budget, and being in service. Digital art as a commodity is a new curriculum that we designed this summer, and that's for the NFT. So we're teaching kids what NFTs mean, token. This is a new movement that when you have some art on the website, you could you could have it where anyone who uses your art will have to pay you. So there's no more free art. So this was an opportunity for kids to just start using their creative expression, but also understand, the technology of it and monetize their art. And community organizing, of course, is about social justice and making community projects for awareness. So what I want to do is, are we ready for some breakout rooms?
Sure.
Yeah. So should I stop sharing?
Well, can you give us an idea of what's going to happen in the breakout rooms and how we get put into them?
Yeah, so I think we get to select. So what we want to do when we open up the rooms will have the names of each of the curriculums that I mentioned.
Okay.
And I think we have time to do like a change, right? So you could spend like 5 minutes in the room, look at the curriculum, play with it, and then go to another room and look at that. So I think we have enough for you to go to 2 rooms. So we could open up 4 rooms, and Angelica will make sure that you have the Prezi to play with the curriculum. So we use Prezi. This is the interface that you're interacting with kids and help you actually follow the curriculum. So from Spiffy's Corner, health and wellness, entrepreneurship, and climate change. Am I right?
I see. So all you have to do is click the button on the breakout rooms on the bottom, for those of you who maybe haven't done this before, and then you just click on where you want to join.
Yeah, and if you want help, just tell us where you want to go. And Angelica is going to every room right now to make sure that you have the link.
Got it. And I am going to wait to join just to see if there's
any
issues that people have. Bye, Paul. Thank you for joining us.